The Chief Economic Advisor to Cross River State, Dr. Francis Untamu, has disclosed that Lekki Deep Water Project will definitely boost the economy of Nigeria as it nears completion, which will give access to better economy, technology, healthcare, agriculture, knowledge, and others. Speaking at the Abuja Transport and Aviation Correspondent Association ATACA annual seminar held in Abuja, Dr. Francis Untamu revealed that the Nasarawa state government has planned to project a light rail that will resolve sitting in buses for hours, and that transportation can definitely build economy of Nigeria if the federal government invests in it, as transportation gives access to technology, agriculture, healthcare, and others. Also noted that change in regime causes havoc.
We're excited with what we saw, the near completion status, over 95% of the Lekki Deep Water Project, which again to us is a game changer to the blue economic landscape of the sub-region and Africa by extension. So if you look at the pockets of deep water projects across Nigeria, whether it is the Bonny Deep Water, the pipeline Bakassi Deep Water, the Ibom, the Gelegele Port in Edo, or the Algae Port in Bayelsa, all the way to Burutu in Warri Delta. It also signposts the fact that there is deliberateness, there is some level of deliberateness towards, changing the narrative and creating inclusiveness for our people, even in the hinterland. I like in particular the opportunity with Barrow in Niger. And the biggest thing you want to get from any public policy intervention is access for healthcare, access for reduction of post-harvest agricultural losses, access for knowledge, access for technology, access for well-being and lifestyle, access for globalization. So I think it's a first giant leapfrog, if you ask me, big leapfrog, that we're able to open up these corridors. We look forward to more happening, particularly along the pipeline projects. We're excited. I like the fact that the Nasarawa state government is thinking through the Kefi, Abuja light rail opportunity. So these are areas that I imagine will impact on the common man. It will cut down on the travel time. It will reduce the challenge of sitting in the vehicle for 8-9 hours on that stretch of the road and driving at probably 1 kilometer per 2 hours or so. So I imagine that there's a lot coming up, but the big risk for us, I ask, is the risk that comes with regime change. So when you have a regime change, what happens? That we're going to have a scenario where the baby will be thrown away with the bathwater, or we're going to have someone who will say, look, we are building upon these opportunities, these growth drivers for inclusive triple prosperity. In the contributory impact, if you like, the development impact of the transportation sector to the growth and development of any community or country. And in doing that, we looked at some case studies. We looked at the integrated transportation model in Ethiopia. We saw how that impacts on their growth. We saw how that impacts on their economic development as opposed to growth, which is mere numbers. We looked at other jurisdictions, for instance, Lome and the connection with Ethiopia, and seeing how that partnership has blossomed and how it impacts creating inclusive growth, as the case may be, and the connection between those interventions and the Universal Declaration on the Sustainable Development Goals. The administration has done quite well, particularly in the rail sector. You can't take that away from them. The road infrastructure sector, the road sector, massive. If you look at Kefi, Abuja, Kefi, Lafia, Makurdi, Enugu stretch, if you take a drive on that road, you have nothing else to ask for. The pace of work, what looks like the quality of delivery. If you look at the alternative corridor from Kefi, Nasarawa to Loko, that cost the travel time, it also reminds you that a lot has happened in that sector. If you look at the rail line, we're excited with what is coming out of Lagos on the blue line, and we look forward to the surprise package from Lagos State government. We're also glad that the Lekki Deep Water Port and Harbour City is within the integrated master plan of Lagos State. What benefit is this project to you and I, to our economy? Is that there are already numbers here indicating how much legroom, how much footprint the project will create. Number one, we are looking at a contribution of over $361 billion that will be generated from the project. And that we're expecting that over 201 billion revenue will be raised as revenue in dollar terms.
However, the former AAC governorship candidate, Engineer Awara, advises the federal government to venture in transport, claiming that volume of Nigerian crude oil is decreasing, as well as the occurrence of oil theft that has dredged the nation's economy.
If people will actually pay attention to the transport sector, I think we'll go better. The oil is not as we were having it before. Now, the volume is going down. Oil theft is a major problem, and it's not something that we can cite that oil theft will stop just tomorrow. It is not. Now, even the oil sector, the theft of oil has also increased the risk in the maritime sector. If transport sector within the Abuja sector is being looked at it, people will not just invest into it, they will see the value of their investment. People are looking for a way to ease themselves, and we have a duty to do it.
Atonda Babatunde, GTV Africa.